Hello, horse racing fans, and welcome to Tommy Walski's Sport of Kings. On our first segment, we visit with a trainer who proves standardbred horse racing is not just a sport for men. Stephanie catches you up on all the news. The 2-year-olds get back to racing in the Stallion Stakes. In case you missed it, we sprint back into the archives. Our salute to the champions looks back at one of the legends of standardbred horse racing. And now, speaking of legends, here he is, BC's ambassador to the world of horse racing, Mr. Tommy Walski.
Here at Fraser Downs, one of the trainers who I've learned to admire throughout the years has been Ann Cooper. Ann Cooper, for her hard work, frankness, and work ethics, has earned the respect of all her peers here at the Downs. Besides caring for her horses, you know what? Ann does a great job caring for her kids.
I had riding horses when I was younger, and actually it was my girlfriend that got me into it. She and her friend used to come down and do stalls for Jim Richards, actually. One day she was sick and asked me to come and do stalls for her, so I came, and I've been here ever since. And that was 30 years ago.
Now, at that time, this definitely was not a woman's sport.
No, not at all. Yeah. It still, even now, is tougher, you know. There's a lot more women in it, so it's getting easier for us.
But are you able to understand why there aren't many women trainers here? I think you're about it on the program.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's other than Heather Burke, you know, she trains with her son. And, you know, Rick and Jan, they're a team, but she was by herself and now she's with him, so they're a team now. Heather Seaford, those are the only ones that I can think of offhand.
At first, was it tough?
Yes, it was real tough. Hard to get owners. I had to take a lot of deals because I wanted to get the horses. I was looking for someone that had like a lot of young horses, and I wanted to go into the younger stock and try and bring babies up because that's where the money is with the stake horses and stuff, but it was really hard. You
once told me a story that a bunch of people had horses with you, and one of them came out for the first time who had not seen you.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I had a group of 8 guys. They had a little hockey team, and, you know, they decided to further that into getting some horses. And, yeah, Canby Stables was their name. And, yeah, the horse they had was Madigan, and I was the only one that jogged him and trained him. And they came down one day to see their horse, and a friend of mine was tracking with me. And they were actually quite surprised that I actually went out there and jogged the horse. They thought that I was just like stayed in the barn and did all the barn work. But yeah, I'd jog every day. I'd track horses every day.
Did you ever have a thought about becoming a driver?
No, I never liked that end of it. You know, if anybody asked me if I had a choice, I would much rather work in the barn. I like the hands-on. I like looking after the horses. I like rubbing on the horses, you know. I'd prefer to do that. You know, I never did get into the heavy training end of it.
And is it still tough getting owners?
No, I've been really lucky. This last year I've got a couple of good owners. Brian Buchanan, he owns Inspired Art. He's been with me for a couple of years. He always, you know, picks up a good horse for me. And then I hooked up with another guy that actually bought 4 or 5 for me and some good horses. This actually has been my best year for, you know, for what I've got in the barn. I've got some really good horses. I'm actually really excited about it.
How much does that make you want to come out in the morning?
Every morning. I love what I do. I'm very lucky, you know, to be able to get up every morning and go to work and love what you do, I think is half the battle, you know. So yeah, no, I'm really excited. I just wish we could race. Not being able to race the last couple of weeks has been really hard. You know, the horses are getting excited. I think everybody's getting antsy, so.
When you first started to get successful, how did your peers take to it?
Everybody was pretty good. Like I say, I have a good crowd that hangs around me, and everybody seemed happy for me. Like I've never really run into any of that. Like, I've been around for so long, I think they were just, you know, it's nice to see when the little guy does good, you know, so I think everybody seemed pretty happy. Like,
how much work goes into this job?
It's 7 days a week. That's the only thing, the downfall, because I have kids. So with the 2 girls, it's, you know, I would love to have a set day off, you know, but I'm pretty good. I got some really good help, so, you know, I can sneak a day off here or there. But, you know, you're looking at anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day. You know, obviously, the more work you put in, I think the better you're going to be, right? So.
You got two girls, Tia and Rebecca.
Yes.
Tia's the young one.
Yeah.
How do they enjoy the sport and have their mother involved in it?
I think, you know, I think they like it. I mean, both girls like horses, so, you know, the older one is not as interested because she's got her, you know, she does dance and she's into rugby and sports and stuff, so, but I sneak her away on the weekends and make her help me, get her to help me. The young one, if she could be here every day, she would, but she's only 7, so I don't like her here as much, you know, like on the weekends she comes down, and after school she comes down and helps, so yeah. No, I like it because it frees me up. You know, with it being my own business, I can set my own hours, so I'm pretty lucky that way. You know, if I need to take off for school stuff, I can, so it works for me.
And you mentioned you do a little jogging with your horses. How important is that?
I think it's important because you know, if someone else is jogging your horses, they're going to give you feedback. You're not going to get it as strong as if you were sitting behind the horse and seeing it for yourself, you know, and everybody's got a different eye. You know, what he sees might be different than what I see. So I think it's a plus if you can, you know, like I don't jog all my horses every day, but if the guy that tracks for me is, you know, sees something, then the next day I'll go out on that horse and take a look at it. And yeah, I think it helps.
During those down times,
yeah,
a lot of the horses you were partners in.
Yes.
That's got to be costly.
Very costly,
money.
And a lot of them were on deals, which means that if the horse doesn't make money, neither do I. Like, you know, because I pay all the bills and only make money when the horses do. Whereas, you know, this way, if the horses don't make money, the bills still get paid. So yeah, no, it's a big deal to have pay horses. That's a big part of, I think, being, you know, a successful trainer is to have good owners behind you.
When you're looking for a driver, because obviously you're not a driver, how do you go about finding one for a certain horse or whatever?
Yeah, I just think start at the top. I've had good luck, you know, I use Tim Brown, Bill Davis, you know, those are, you know, Darren Howell, they're Scott Knight, you know, I just take the top drivers. The last 5 years, that's what I did. I had a couple of smaller drivers driving years ago and it just didn't work, you know. I just start at the top and hopefully I've got good enough horses where they'll take them.
When they come back, do they often give you advice?
Yes, they have a lot of input, you know, just things that they see or advice that, you know, if they want to change something, so that really helps.
How does the stable look for the rest of the year? It
looks great. I'm really excited. Like I say, I've got a couple of really good horses, and yeah, I think this is going to be one of my best years.
Don't go away. The Sport of Kings. We'll be right back. And now, to get you up to date with all the happenings in and around the track, let's saddle up with our own Stephanie Mercier.
Last weekend, Fraser Downs broke a record. Because so many race days had to be canceled due to snow, they decided to run 40 races over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That meant a total of 340 horses were scheduled to run. Now that's a record of number of races for Fraser Downs, and it meant a ton of excitement and fun. This weekend is the 10th annual National Daily Racing Form Handicapping Challenge in Las Vegas. There are 301 contestants gathered at the Red Rock Casino. First prize is $500,000. Now, contestants gain entry into the tournament by winning at one of 88 local tournaments. There were a couple held at Hastings this year. The winner of the Friday Night Handicapping Challenge was Al Harrison, and the winner of the DRF tournament was Albert Wong. So we'll let you know if either of those two make it in the top numbers. Last Saturday at Fraser Downs was the running of the Penny Bath Memorial Stakes elimination races. These races are for 4-year-old BC bred, owned, or sired mares. Now, the first winner wasn't the board favorite, but she did come out victorious. That would be the Darren Howell trained and driven Nazco Jade. Nazco Jade is owned by Ronald Mason and Helmut Ratz. The second leg of the elimination was won by Carew Hanover at a time of 1:58. Carew Hanover was driven and trained by Brent Bilby and owned by Robert Murphy. Today, Saturday, January 24th, both Hastings Racecourse and Fraser Downs are hosting the HPI Sunshine Millions Handicapping Challenge. Now, you do have to be an HPI member to enter. This is a one-day simulcast contest. Come in and bet on distant, sunny southern tracks. The winner will get a $1,000 deposit into their HPI account. Did you know the track at Fraser Downs is made of limestone, and that limestone comes from Texada Island. Now, Texada Island is one of the only Gulf islands that still has a mining industry on it, and that's handy for Fraser Downs because it's really not all that far away. Not all harness tracks are made of limestone. A lot are made of a combination of clay and sand, but limestone is a good surface for around here because it's pretty good in the rain, although as we've seen, it's not that great in cold temperatures. Now you know. That covers this week's news in horse racing. But for more news, be sure to sign up for the Horse Racing Central newsletter available on the Fraser Downs website. I'm Stephanie Mercier, and now you're back on track.
Time now for a driver's profile. Jim Burke is a popular driver here at Fraser Downs with over 2,000 career wins and close to $10 million in purse money. Jim's favorite horse to drive is Red Star Senator. His first win was with Habitat Pectopa. Jim tells us if he was not a driver, he'd be a boxing promoter. If you're cooking for Jim, you best read up. He'd like to dine on Peking duck. Jim's a hockey fan. His favorite team is the Detroit Red Wings. You shudder, you Canuck fans, you. If you want to watch a movie with Jim, you better bring along your guns. Tombstone's among his pick of the flicks.
Now it's time for the part of the program we simply call In Case You Missed It. This is where we take you through our huge library of Sport of Kings footage, in case you missed it. Today on this feature, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to take our cameras and we're going to follow a bunch of future prospects for the Vancouver Canucks, at least in their own minds they hope they are, the Fraser Downs Western Hockey League team, in case you missed it.
It's not just about horses at Fraser Downs. Once a week, a few drivers, grooms, and even the general manager take time to enjoy a break from the races. From Cloverdale, it's Horsemen Hockey Night in Fraser Downs.
All about defense. If the defense ain't there, then the whole team's out. You got to score the goals, you got to save the goals, got to, it's all on the defense.
I'm trying to convince the league to let me use one of those metal bars to guide me around the ice, but so far I haven't had any luck. So I just go out there and skate and try and stay out of people's way.
We got that on tape.
I hope the new guy's good, because we're pretty bad.
We don't have ice in California. We have roller. We have floors.
I am lightning. They call me Lightning, the tower. I am not the sieve.
Joe Gray is not a sieve. It would be unfair to put the entire burden of defense on this goaltender, but it was apparent that goalie Joe had more success in stopping larger objects. You may not call Joe a stand-up goaltender, but then again, the same goes for the rest of the team. But the Fraser Downs Hockey Club is not completely devoid of talent, and GM Chuck Keeling's dangerous when given enough momentum. With little coaching, this team is quickly making a name for itself. Make no mistake, Fraser Downs is a force to be reckoned with. Perhaps they don't possess the speed or the strength of a standardbred racehorse, but in terms of recreational hockey, their solid and steady effort can be likened to the most reliable at any hockey rink.
Play hockey, take your mind off of it, go golfing something. You can't be horses, horses, horses all the time. If you do, you just go crazy. You got to take your mind off of it. This is one way of our taking our mind off it and our frustrations.
And for the record, Joe Gray is not a sieve.
I'm not the sieve. They call me Lightning, the tower.